Here we go into our second game of a round robin phase. I now have a fully functional controller, so first loadout here for the Pomelos is Shrike with dual Gats, dual Hwachas. Their ally bring back the Perfection Mark II, dual Nemesis front, dual Flare Gun center, dual Gatling in the rear. And for their opponents, Legio, Lepidoptera, Leviathan, we see the Pomelos, Hwacha light carrying a Gatling on this Goldfish, and their ally, the GFA Flying Flounder. Gatling, dual Artemis, staggered positions, light flak in the lower left, and a mine launcher on the far right. So interestingly enough, a match with the Pomelos on Periton Rumble with no Mobula for Sunstrom, but we do have one for their opponents. And this is also the build we saw tear apart Lepidoptera Leviathan last week in the finals. The Perfection Mark II, Triple L just had so much difficulty dealing with the dual Nemesis. It's one of those weapons that has kind of it doesn't have a strong immediate impact on a fight, but because it has that universal impact damage type, it knocks down the balloon, the hull, it can snipe out components, and also has a lot of range to it, so it can hit if with good positioning from the side of the Crusader as they tap that piece of terrain. The Nemesis can hit from pretty much everywhere, and you see Perfection actually set up in the corner here while Schrichter moves in from the north. This is one of the weaknesses of the Crusader. Crusader, I'd say generally speaking, seen as a very weak ship since Hellfire here. Really the only pilot that we've seen playing the Crusader to any success in competitive matches. But one of the weaknesses of the ship is that it's slow, and it has a very large profile that's susceptible to easy shots. And it just doesn't have a lot of health to compensate for that. So a lot of this, the effectiveness of this build, comes from the Crusader's ability to hide its long, slender profile behind some terrain or in some crack that makes it difficult to engage on them. They can just kind of fire the Nemesis as much as they want without being harassed, without having to deal with incoming Artemis shots or Hwacha or Pyramidian Ram or whatever. And as we're seeing here, Schrichter very slowly rotating around the map as Lepidoptera backs away. Pomelos look like they're going to be trying to close the noose on this team. Now, the Flying Flounder does have those mines, so we'll see if the opposing Shrike does get close enough for those mines to come into effect. Crusader's probably not going to. I suspect they'll stay away if they can. Now, Pomelos moving in here as the Nemesis shots. Two Nemesis shots miss, and you can't miss those because, again, they take a while to stack up. So every missed shot, well, okay, now their balloons their whole armor is just getting deleted. Nemesis shots start hooking in. Flying Flounder moves in to contest the Crusader. Well, the Shrike comes in behind the Mobula. Perfection going for a ram, it looks like, but skates on by. Pomelos moves forward. The Crusader doesn't quite have the mobility to keep up with the Goldfish. So now trying to back up, keep those Nemesis in arc. Well, the Pomelos does a good job. Nice Hwacha connection on the Schrichter. Potential dual team here. I don't think the Perfection's going to do enough damage to stop one of these ships from killing the Shrike. We'll see. Shrike is moonshining away, trying to get out. Pomelos hits the terrain, halting their descent. So I think Shrike is going to be able to survive here because of that small tap of the side of the hull onto the building. While the Crusader goes in, moves in on the Mobula. Again, they're trying to get a ram also, but they don't need it. Mobula's balloons suppressed by the Nemesis. They fall into the terrain, into the spiky pit of the destroyed building, and are unable to escape. So that's first point on the board for the Pomelos. And now Pomelos armor is down. Hwacha just fired, so Schrichter's going to try to rotate to the left side, and they're trying to strafe around the Nemesis. They're hitting. No, they're hitting buildings. Pomelos having a lot of difficulty navigating around the terrain. I think that's going to be it. They're stuck here. They've, just like the Mobula, the Goldfish has fallen into the same cage. And next armor break, well, next armor break, not quite going to be it. They did fire the Hwacha a little bit early to try to keep the engines destroyed. But Crusader's able to drop down, smash them, and that's a clean engagement from the Pomelos. So some positional mistakes from the Legio Lepidoptera that I feel like in terms of pure combat effectiveness, Legio Lepidoptera actually had the upper hand for most of that engagement, but a few positional mistakes allowed the Pomelos to corner their opponents into terrain death traps. So ultimately, they did win out. Flying Poodle, Flying Flounder, and Pomelos spawning east side of the map. So it looks like both teams going to be rotating south. And we'll see if Legio Lepidoptera maybe tries to take a more open air fight based on how that last one went. As to how they had a little bit of difficulty navigating those buildings. We're going to get fast spots here because Pomelos is out in the open. We do have a Legio, not... It's not an SCS broadcast without me having difficulty pronouncing Triple O's full team name at least once. Looks like we do have a pause being called here. I'm looking at the score here. Nobody has shown up as disconnected just yet, but it looks like Nerd Hector having some issues on his side, so we'll be getting a pause. And unfortunately, spot does go down for the Pomelos, which, you know, they're flying in open air, so this is unsurprising. I'm trying to find out where the Shrike is located. Yeah, it looks like Shrike did have visibility of the goldfish. I did say the same thing last week in the match, the finals match between Legio Lepidoptera and the Pomelos. I feel like if Triple L just spent more energy going for the Crusader, the Crusader's gonna have a lot of time, a lot of difficulty escaping. All they need to do is make sure the Mobula doesn't get rammed, and they should be fine. Just spend a little more attention trying to kill that Crusader. Those two Artemis should be able to keep the Nemesis disabled. It's a similar situation in the last game where they're having a little bit of difficulty keeping in the last game, Extreme Emergency Daniel's case, having difficulty keeping the correct targets. But we'll see. Like those mines, I think the point of the mine launcher here is to prevent the Crusader from being able to ram them, but we just have not seen it being used. Interestingly enough, we do have, it looks like, 3 engineers for the Mobula. So that probably reduces the effectiveness of the mine launcher quite a bit. Often you see a gunner in the center position, top gun, and then they'll drop to the mine launcher or have the mine launcher center. But without the gunner, they don't have access to any ammo, any projectile speed, effective distance, range-reducing ammo types. Although Scrowbeard potentially could have loaded in Lockdegar into the captain could have brought an ammo type and loaded it into the mine launcher, but you know, who knows what the rationale is here for this triple engineer setup. I guess they just really want that buff hammer on the Gatling. But that definitely reduces the utility of the mine launcher quite a bit. Now, as Flying Flounder moves in, Schrichter, drive-by shooting, takes down the whole armor of the Flying Flounder. And now Perfection's moving in. They might be able to get a kill. Mobula is so heavily damaged. Goldfish needed to help their ally there. The Mobula is not going to win that 1v1 if they get rammed. They need to they just need to play smarter. They're not going to win in that straightforward engagement. Either rise above them or try to use the mine launcher to stop them from the mine launcher. If they had lock ammo or just decided to put the mine launcher center, they would have had such an easy time dealing with this Crusader. But the problem is, anytime they move in, the Crusader can just go in for the ram because the Mobula they're just not playing smart. They're just setting themselves up to get eviscerated by the front of the Perfection. And I think this might be a 4th point. Nemesis shots coming in. Watcha hits unbuilt hull. And Pudamoth... Was that... No. I thought for a second that was maybe Tar, but... don't believe it is. Pudamoth's balloon is down. Schrichter falling them down as well. Watcha connects, picking them away, and... that is the 4th point. So this is setting up to be maybe an interesting round robin phase, because last game we did see Extreme Emergency Daniels get dominated by Triple L, but now Triple L just totally lost against this new opponent, the Pomelos. So I'll be curious to see how Pomelos and XCT end up matching up. If that's a more competitive match, or if Pomelos may just be they may be running hot. They may be set up to win this tournament. We'll see. But that's what it's looking like here in Puerto Rumble. As Blue Team once again taking that center east spawn. Richter maintaining a high overwatch position, so they have good visibility into center map. Haven't seen Lepidoptera try to play to the map's strengths yet. In that last engagement, started with them kind of running around just in the open, maybe in part due to them dealing with connection issues from their engineer. But it looks like this time they are trying to play it a little bit sneakier. Still having difficulty with the terrain, bouncing against the crane a little bit. Pudamoth rising up, Flying Flounder. I'm going to switch to the Perfection's view here. Flying Flounder keeping a very low position underneath the cloud. And they're rising up. We'll see who the Mobula decides to go for. Pudamoth already getting dual focused. Schrichter. Looks like Mobula is going to be going for the Crusader. Gatling engaging. Two Nemesis. Pudamoth armor is down. Flying Flounder. Goldfish is actually flying in front of the Mobula's guns. This is not good positioning. Flying Flounder has to duck down and gets hit by the Schrichter. Schrichter loses their armor. Pudamoth taking big damage. 50% gone on the Pudamoth, but the Perfection's taking damage as well. Flying Flounder, all the ships. Flying Flounder, unfortunately, the Mobula taking too many hits. I think they reversed into the terrain, perhaps. The angle was a little bit weird, but they did get taken down by the Schrichter. That's a 5-0 victory for the Pomelos. Very well played by Sunstrom, Hellfire, and crew.